Okay, so let's go ahead and continue this. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure where we left off. So I kind of started another drawing, and we're going to try and work this as quickly as possible. And if not, it gets a chance for you to follow through. So we actually had the circle, and we talked about the hand and how I have a little bit of softened rectangles, opening the hand this way. The hands usually will have 4 little fingers, and we can actually add her right here, have a dress kind of like a rectangle. And the great thing about this is that on the arm, if I do kind of like an opposite C, I can actually get her little clothing going. And this hand is to the right, and I'm having and then we have rectangle here, and then these 2 little fingers are together, and then we have a little pinky that's kind of flipped a little bit like this. So do you see that? And right here, it goes from thick to thin, and there's her little elbow. You can put a little shoulder here. Now what I have here is her little legs. We're gonna kind of do this again. They go from thin to a little bit thick, and right here from thin to a little bit thick. And her feet, we have them right here, and again, they're little, just, you can actually do little designs right here for 3, 4 little feet, right, toes, and then right here the same thing. I have 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then this is going to be her little foot over here. We talked about very quickly right here, I'm going to follow this line, and then I'm going to just kind of go in like this, and they're like little C's, and I'm going to actually then darken everything right here, and this is actually becoming her mouth, and she's got this great big smile. You might want to count her teeth. I think I added 1 extra one. Anyways, I'm just going to do this right here. All of the trolls have these kind of ears, and the biggest mistake I find is that my students actually will draw the ears really small. They're good. They can hear everything, so they're going to have to be a little bit bigger. We talked about the headband parallel to here, parallel here, and then we talked about a little bit about the head, the hair. It goes straight up, and then it flares to the left, to the right. And so I could always do this, and then I can come over here and then just draw this. Do you see that? And bring it here to the left, you know, that kind of zigzags, and there we go. This is her hair, and we are looking at her eyebrow. She has an eyebrow right here, and I think where I left off was actually, and I'm going to just put her hair, it's really much longer here, and then she has it to the left. We can't forget that. We actually talked about that for me, I like to actually use other parts of it to actually design like the nose and practice on the nose. And I'm going to say, okay, it's actually smaller like this, and it's a little bit oval. It's kind of like a stretched out nose. If I didn't like it, I'm going to try it again and maybe do like a parentheses, but they look like C's, and then I'll do this little parentheses facing downward. So do you see how that makes it look like a little bit of a troll nose like that? The other thing I like to practice here is maybe the eyes. So I'll just do them here, and this is darker, and then she has a twinkle in her eye again right here, and I'm going to make this into a color, and I can actually do this, and she has kind of like, this is darkened here, and she has these great, beautiful eyelashes. And so you can continue practicing over and over. And I think where I left off was that you're going to also include foreground, middle ground, background, even on this little one. So I'm going to draw very lightly the front, and I'm going to do a line, and I'm going to kind of make it hilly. This is medium, and then maybe I'll do a really dark here. I like you to create a flower of your choice. I'm going to make a large flower right here, and so it's going to be right next to her. Then I'm going to make a medium-sized flower to show me middle ground, and same thing, and do a little bit of grass, and it could be any kind of flower, and you can practice. And then I can have some small ones over here. I can actually have very much so what is it called, Dr. Seuss trees with ovals, and I can actually create middle-sized tree, and then I can create ovals here for a smaller tree. And so that's gonna start giving me the design of my foreground, middle ground, background. Now here we go. I think this is where I got caught off. And how do I take this image, and remember, this is very small compared to this. You see that? But now, I want you to practice it this way. Don't go large, because then if I ask you, okay, now how about if we change it? Let's not do Princess Poppy, but King Peppy, you know, then you still have to know how to get it done from the basic shapes. So here, I'm actually going to be able to draw my lines, vertical and horizontal, cut them in half. And I'm going to draw this in marker. You do not have to. So if I do this, I just want to make sure you see this. You see how the head is right in the middle? And then she's got this 3/4. So it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So this work is actually divided into 3 parts. The troll, the little body of this troll, and you might want to make her legs a little longer if you desire. You don't have to. I think this one, maybe I'll do it. I like her little leggy looking. Anyway, so here's the oval. I'm starting in the middle, and this much is going to be the hair, and the rest of it is going to be the body. And I'm going to do the same way. I'm going to start this way. Do not be afraid. And I'm going to move her face a little bit forward here. Not in the middle, but not too much to the side how I did it. And her little eyes are going to be almost smack in the middle right here. I'm going to create her ears, and her ears are about half the height of this. So do not be afraid to make large ears. Remember, her hair covers it. Anyways, I'm going to make a little here. And then again, I'm going to place her nose. And so, you see that? I'm going to do it lightly right here. So here's her nose. I'm going to do these little circles. Remember we were talking about that? I'm going to make this a little smaller. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make her body. Remember, it goes from thin, and then it goes kind of stretches out a little bit to thick. I'm going to move it this way, and then I'm going to have one oval here and one oval here for her feet. And I know she has one hand right here to the left, and the other one is really close to her face, and it's right here. Again, I'm going to start from, and I take a look at this, and it's a small shoulder, and then it goes wider to the hand. I'm going to have a, what is it called? A kind of like a softened rectangle, and 3 fingers. They're little rectangle, little sausages. The little pinky's always kind of like flipped. So you can just start looking at those little things. Her dress comes, I'm going to make her a little shorter dress right up here to make her legs look longer. So right here, and then this arm, this hand is here. This little finger, you can barely see it, but these two are kind of like she's going, ta-da, here I am. And so here's this little finger, and then of course her little pinky's also again a little bit off right there. This goes flat, and it's going to go from thick to thin, and her little shoulders here. So you see that? So here we have her this little body. Can I start erasing? Oh, absolutely. Anytime you feel like, okay, I'm overwhelmed, just erase it. I'm going to give her a little V. Now, since I'm drawing larger, I can see a little more. And right here, if I do this, now it's starting to look like that 3-dimensional. Do you see that? I kind of turned it around from this shape, and I'm going to give her her little dress right here. Can I do the design? Absolutely. I'm going to move this little dress right behind. You see that? This arm's here, and then I'm going to, let's go ahead and take care of her legs right here. She doesn't have any knees. This is her foot, and her little toes are here. And then I'm going to, right here, do you see this oval? I'm just going to kind of flatten it. And then her legs are actually together. So right here, I'm flattening it. And then she has a little toe here, another one here, and another one here. She's got cute little feet right here. And so I'm going to make this leg a little bit thinner. And so if you look at that, do you see how I just made her legs a little longer than the other one I did? Now we have like kind of like a crescent right here for her mouth. You see that? And I always do this. I actually will look at the image and say, okay, the mouth is going further than the eyes. Remember, this is cartoon. They could do anything. So I make it a little larger. I'm going to put a little eyebrow here. This eyebrow is going to cut. Now her teeth, I'm going to take it from here, and I'm just going to, and her teeth are rounded. You know, roundness usually makes it very, very soft. It's softer in character also. If I make them jaggedy, pointed, it's going to make them actually meaner. And if I make it squarish, it makes them very authoritative, you know. So anyways, then I can go ahead and create, and just go ahead and I will put a value, a darker value right here. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and remember we practiced. I'm going to make this a little smaller right here. That way I feel like she's looking at me and I'm looking at her. We talked about the headband. See this? We're going to make it kind of like go straight and straight up, and then kind of keep that crescent kind of curve look, and that actually makes it look like it's going around her. We know she has a flower here. I'm just going to lay out circles, and I can come back to that. And this one I'm going to do an oval. This is and there's a circle. Then her little hair comes out all the way over here. And what did we say? 1, 2, 3 maybe. 1, 2, and possibly we'll do 3 again. And again, it's not coming out in the middle. It's 1, 2, 3. Come here. 1, 2, 3, and bring it here. And so do you see her? She's actually coming. Here's my little troll. It's happening. It's happening. And then I can just very lightly, her little hair goes over her eye. Now that I'm looking at this image, it's kind of difficult to look from a computer. So I suggest for you to kind of pause at any time you can. And then once you get the gist of where everything is, turn me off and go to the image, and then use the image on the computer. And that's fine. Right here, I'm going to put a little flower here. This is her little flower right here. Now I can actually start erasing if I want. If I'm ready to say, okay, I think this is about, this is how she looks. I'm going to make her little shoulder go up. I'm never afraid to erase. I noticed that this little shoulder is too low, and that's because this is a little higher. She doesn't really have a neck, and now I'm going to have to really give her little cheeks a little roundness to it. And I can come and start erasing some of these lines to help me out determining this. But what I was working at also is telling you, and I can actually add the designs everywhere. Don't forget, before you continue drawing, I really do want you to add that light here for foreground, middle for background, a middle ground, and then really dark for background. 1, 2, 3. You can do them a little different, like hilly. And then I wanted for you to actually see if you can, right here, I'm going to do my tree. Figure out any kind of tree. You can look at the movie if you haven't seen it. So I'm going to do the Dr. Seuss type of tree. And then I'm going to have grass here. And so my grass over here is going to be larger, and here in the middle ground, and over here very small. So we're trying to give her a landscape, a foreground, middle ground, and background. And now you can actually start looking at, okay, now let me go ahead and I'm going to zoom in if I can. Now I can go ahead and actually lay out some designs, you know, and just take a look at her little dress. And of course, now if you're not working on her and you're working on Peppy or Branch or any other of the other characters, still the same process, absolutely the same process. So I want you to be aware of that. She does wear a bracelet. and curve. If you notice, when I curve anything like here and here and here, it actually starts giving us and over here and here, it gives us the roundness. Does that make sense? Okay, guys, continue working on this, and I'll see you on Wednesday. It's a must show, and it's getting closer to where we can actually see each other face to face, and we're going to be adding value, lights and darks. How do we make her now look molded in three-dimensional? We did the designs with the Zentangles, and then we're going to continue working on how do I actually add shadows in order for her nose to come forward, and for the inside of the mouth to actually look further darker, and also how do I make this come forward and the background go back. There's a couple of rules that I will talk to you about. All right, see you later. Thank you.